Hi everybody, Mrs. Jenner here. I am here today to give you book talk number 2 in our book talk video series. Still have not come up with a better name. Somebody give me a better name, okay? That is your task. But anyways, today we're talking about not one, but 2 books. That's because it is should go this way. It is a series. Okay, I love series books because you get to keep on reading and reading and reading until the series eventually ends. With one book, you just get one book and you're done. But anyways, so I grabbed this book and it is amazing. And you should read it just because I said it's amazing. Right? Because I said so, you should read it. I say that to my kids all the time and it doesn't work. Will it work on you? Hopefully. Probably not. But let me tell you some more. So I got this book because look at this cover. That is such an intriguing cover. But then I started to read the little saying on the front. And it says, before she took the mermaid's voice, she gave up her own heart. And then I immediately went to do this. Like I wanted to throw it back in the bag because it's got to be about the Little Mermaid, right? There's the sea witch who took a mermaid's voice. If that doesn't scream Little Mermaid, I don't know what does. But I didn't because I always told my students, do not judge a book by its cover. So I had to lead by example, and I started reading it. And I am so glad I did because it is absolutely amazing. So basically, we'll give you the quick and dry version. There are 3, maybe 4 main characters in this book. Evie, Prince Nick, Prince Iker, and Annabeth. Evie is the main character, and she is actually a witch. She is human. That's a key. She's human, but she's a witch, and she's friends with Prince Nick, who is eventually going to become king of Havenstad. And she is shunned by the rest of the kingdom, but she's kind of left alone because she's friends with Prince Nick, and her father, it happens to be the royal fisherman. So, albeit she's a witch, and being a witch is a bad thing in Havenstad, and she could be burned at the stake if anybody called her out. Nobody does because they don't want to upset the prince. But so that's key. So she's a witch. She's friends with the prince, and Prince Iker happens to be Prince Nick's cousin. So it starts out like a love triangle, because in any good YA fiction, young adult fiction book, there's always a love triangle. But it turns into like a love square, almost, when Annabeth comes into play. So Annabeth is found by Evie one day down on the docks. She's shipwrecked, and Evie is honestly quite stunned when she finds her because Annabeth looks exactly like a friend of Evie's and Prince Nick's that died when they were young. She died swimming. She drowned. So she looks exactly like her. And that friend's name is actually Anna. So not only does she look like her, but they have very similar names. So after Evie gets over the shock and awe of the fact that this girl that came up out of the ocean looks exactly like her dead friend, she brings her to Prince Nick, and Prince Nick kind of takes her under his wing, and it just so happens that Prince Nick is looking for a princess. He needs to find somebody to marry, and Annabeth kind of meets that criteria of somebody you could marry. According to Annabeth, her background is that she's in a higher standing. She's almost royalty, so she could potentially marry the prince if he had asked, unlike Evie, who is just a commoner and cannot. So Prince Nick kind of takes a fancy to Annabeth, and as they're all getting to know each other a little bit more, they find out Annabeth's background. And that's when the story really takes a turn, because Evie is the one that figures out who Annabeth really is. She's not who she says she is. She's not who Evie thinks she is. She's somebody entirely different. And a battle kind of ensues towards the end of the story in which somebody dies, somebody does not remain human, somebody else dies, somebody turns to the dark side, kind of. Not really, but they change sides in the course of all this. And it's like this epic story arc just kind of goes up, kind of slow up, and then way up, and then a dramatic down towards the end. And it gets really intense for a little while. So that's basically the Sea Witch. I'm not going to tell you more because it'll ruin it. But the Sea Witch Rising, I don't know if you can see that cover, but there's two faces there instead of one. And it picks up where the Sea Witch leaves off. Except in this case, it starts under the ocean. So whoever doesn't remain human ends up under the ocean as a different creature. You could probably guess what kind of creature that is, but picks up there as the Sea Witch. And the Sea Witch is now in her lair, and now there's mermaids that come into play. There's actually two main mermaids in that book, and there's twin sisters. Go figure. One sister wants to go on land, wants to become human because she claims that there's a prince who happens to be Prince Nick's son. Sorry, I was thinking about their connection there. Prince Nick's son. She claims that this prince loves her, even though they've never met. So she sells the Sea Witch her voice. And again, you're starting to think, well, it's the Little Mermaid, right? It's the Little Mermaid. And yeah, it kind of is, but it's kind of not. It's a totally different story. Because then the sister comes into play. The twin sister goes to that Sea Witch and wants to save her sister because she doesn't believe that this prince is going to fall in love with her sister by the end of the spell, and her sister will die. And so she goes on land as well to try and save her sister. And the cost of that is either kill the prince or let her sister die. And her sister doesn't want to kill the prince because she loves him. But the other sister doesn't want her sister to die. So it's kind of all about their struggles with each other. And also the Sea Witch's life, how that changes, because she's dealing with a lot too. She has to make some choices about what she wants to happen in her life, and she's not sure she can pay the price. So yes, it's very Little Mermaid-esque, but it takes its own little turn. So if you are looking for a fantasy witch mermaid love triangle kind of thing, these books are for you. Definitely. And we have both of them in the library. The Sea Witch is already cataloged and ready to go. The Sea Witch Rising, I actually just purchased with my own money, and I'm going to put it in the catalog so that you all can enjoy it with me. So go and place those holds and let me know what you think of it. And do you think it's just like Little Mermaid, or do you see the differences? I look forward to hearing from you.